live, and I'm double checking my audio inputs because otherwise Kita will poke me about it anyways, and we look good. Okay, fantastic. Alright, audio inputs are good, stream is up, we are live. Last time on Dragon Ball Z. We made our way from Leyland through the Crypt Garden Forest. We came upon some odd locale in the woods where we felt a odd cold presence, and Kita then did a little communing with nature and found some other locations which we marked on the map, one of which felt kind of like a evilish, kind of fiendish presence, let's say, the source of some kind of pull in that direction, a planar connection which potentially was linking a cold spot, and then we kind of also discovered and found the location of the actual lair for old Gnawbones, Clogliemitar, the green dragoness that is currently residing in the area. We located the area, we made camp real quick, had a bitchin' feast, and now are ready to enter into the area to find said dragon, and hopefully prevent it from having any future dealings or interactions where the fate of Leyland is simply destroyed. So you guys find yourself here in the kind of boggy swamp area, as the depth of the water here is probably no more than, maybe like a foot. It's just kind of enough to make the ground wet and have the presence of the bog above it in the water table or where you currently are, but it's not an even terrain, so there are some patches where land becomes visible above the water, although the stability of said land is probably extremely not good. You see some somewhat decaying, maybe dead pine trees around the area with you. Directly to the west, directly in front of you, your line of sight, you can make out a cave wall, roughly, call it about 20-foot height, covered with vines and other, swampy growth that maybe you would find more apt in a jungle, not so much in a swamp or a forest. But it is present. There are some light hints in this location of like a phosphorescent or a photoluminescent or a bioluminescent like moss or some kind of cave covering growth that gives this faint tinted muted green color, emitting that light. To the south, you similarly can make out that there is a rise on another cliff wall above, similarly covered in vines and other growth. That is a mouth to another cave entrance, about 40 foot up. And to the north of you, you see where the water level kind of shrinks and reduces until you get to some land that I wouldn't really call dry. That then begins to enter into a cave mouth that is at ground level to your north. The glow in that direction of the photoluminescent moss is a little brighter, or a little more noticeable perhaps, than it is in any other directions. But that is where you find yourselves, having recently partaken of your exuberant heroic feast, and making your way back to the lair.
Do all of these cave entrances that we were made aware of last time when we found this place, do they all look relatively the same size, as in they could all fit a dragon for the age that we are relatively aware of that she is? Or is there only like really one or two that looks like she could easily walk into?
So in terms of size, the width, I would say the width of the largest one is the one that's about 20 feet in height to your west. The width of that cave is probably somewhere around 65 to 70 feet in width. So it's definitely plenty wide to be able to fit a dragon through. The other to your south also could fit a dragon through it. It's probably more apt to being like 40-ish feet wide. And the one to your north probably would be a tight fit, but at most looks like at its widest is probably 12, 15 feet, but probably, depending on how the cave opens up or winds around, maybe would allow for it or maybe would not.
Okay. We should probably start with either the one to the west or the one to the south. Any thoughts from anyone on that?
The one to the west looks a little bit too inviting. I'd say we go to the one to the south.
Take the worst possible option, because from what you described, these greens are manipulators, so don't want to take the easy way.
Junie, what are dragons considered? Like, they're not animals, obviously.
Isn't there an actual dragon type?
I think it's just dragon as the type as well.
Yeah.
So if I were to, like, commune with nature here at the mouth of the cave, I can only do powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, as well as prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or people.
Right. So, in line with that, if you were to do that, I assume that would encompass a dragon. However, that would probably come down to whether or not the dragon was actually interested in communing with you or not.
Well, it's less me communing with it, right? And me just communing with the nature
to tell you about the presence of said thing. Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
Okay. Holly is going to do that then. Holly will turn to the group and just say that she needs a few minutes, and she'll start doing her little ritual for communing with nature.
Okay.
As a ritual cast. Well, not a ritual. Well, it's cast at will, but casting time is 11 minutes, so.
Fair enough.
I'll keep an eye out towards the direction she originally said the undead presence was from. She said it was moving. Just in case anything comes from that general direction.
Fair enough. That location at this point, just so you're aware, is probably over 15 miles away. So, but
Or just no direction.
Yep.
And it could look around somewhere.
Fair enough. Yeah, go ahead, Kita.
I was just going to say, I'm going to sit down and start communing with nature and close my eyes and feel the grass under me, or dirt, moss, whatever the fuck this shit is.
So you feel the kind of warmish, but almost not really room temperature-esque water as you sit in it. And you can definitely tell that there is some kind of like silt or the collection of leaves and other things that are decaying under your feet in the water that you are currently sitting/standing upon.
Okay. And I will close my eyes and commune with the nature around me and try to find out which way this dragon is.
Okay.
Even if I can't directly find the dragon, if it's outside of my range, I'm going to look for anything that could potentially be a clue as to that.
Okay. And the range on that, if I remember correctly, is what, like 3 miles or something?
3 miles, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So while you are currently speaking with nature, what is everyone else up to? You just gonna hang around and just watch and wait for the ritual to go through? Do you want to investigate some? What would you like to do?
How far south is that cave?
Well, it is currently not within your direct line of sight in terms of ease of visibility, so it's at least, I'd say, 60 feet away. I helped to try to make people's visibility radius around their characters work somewhat in terms of the light. So if your normal line of sight at most is 60 and, true sight or whatever you want to call it within 30 for like human that don't have night vision or anything to augment it, that's probably what you'll be able to see in terms of your cone / circle of visibility on the map. So I tried to make that work to our advantage here a little bit in terms of what you see is what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Talia wouldn't have anything really to prepare aside from maybe adjusting and rechecking the straps and buckles on my armor a few more times. Shield is out, scimitar is out. Got
Okay.
my ring and spell soaring on my fingers.
I will just wait for Holly to complete her ritual for now and just keep an eye out to our northern side just to make sure nothing comes out of that cave during this time.
Very well.
Yep, and I'm gonna just keep my eye out towards the way we come from and a bit northeastern from there.
Okie doke. Alright, so I get from the consensus then that we are basically kind of just hunkering down, waiting for Holly to complete said ritual.
Mm-hmm.
See.
Okay. So after communing with the spirits of nature itself, you discern that there is a massively strong natural creature or being, prevalent form, that lies to your west.
Just in the, like, towards the western cave entrance tunnel thing.
Yes, to the west.
Okay. I'll turn to the group and I'll point down that tunnel. That's the direction we want to go.
All right then. Let's do this. Just watch your footing. We don't know exactly what is in here or what reception we will get from her enthusiastic followers.
So one thing I forgot to recant from last time to make note of is around the entrance to this location up here to the north and some other splotchy areas around the bog in kind of like a presence or a view like that. You see the what I'll call the remains of and or the heads of undead things that have effectively been piked and placed as like a warning. So that just wanted to make sure that I reiterated that fact.
Oh, good.
Fun.
Okay.
Am I supposed to be able to see those entrances on the map? Because I cannot.
Nope. At current, the only thing you can really see right now, based upon your line of sight visibility, is probably the entrance of the cave that begins up here. Beyond that,
Nope.
what are you able to see?
Tree.
3 trees and us.
Yep, that's
Perfect.
because of
A
where
tree
your
blocking
vision is.
outside, it looks like.
Right.
Yep.
Your line of sight, trees have some visibility blocking going on. Basically, they have a light blocker that's inside of them.
Like, that's my screen right now because of where I'm placed. So.
Right. And you have the most sight because of your race.
Yes.
But everyone else has a reduced visibility that is not a quote-unquote shared sight necessarily, because your characters aren't telepathically linked to know that what others see is what you see. So your radius of effect is going to be a lot shorter than other people's.
Okay, yeah, because it's like a lot shorter.
Should be about 30 feet.
30 feet.
You are pretty old, Talia.
You're a human.
Yeah.
You got your
Wait,
free
what time of
bonus
day
feet.
is
You
it?
stop complaining.
Pretty late in the day because we walked a lot of miles and then stopped for an hour to eat.
Oh, okay. I was like, why is the visibility so reduced? I had forgotten what time of day it is. Whoops.
All right. So with that, I will move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that I can get a better view and see what happens to me.
As you move forward, you can trudge along through the waters, and you start to make out what you believe to be the edge of where the cliff above, the 20-foot cliff, and the vines are.
Are those statues?
So let me pause you here for a second. As you are sloshing around through the water, moving forward, you hear some other noises start to make their presence known, moving through the waters as well. To the south, as some creatures begin to move out and come into view from the trees that are down there. So here are some things coming into view. And let me go ahead and pop this open. Go ahead and roll your initiatives for our first foray of combat here
John,
at the lair. Yes.
did you want me to reach the cliff base before
You
that
can.
happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, as you guys are effectively moving through the water, splashing and or trudging, it alerts the presence of some creatures that were lying in wait and or watch, and now they have come to investigate to see what's making the noise.
Talia,
Holly with a nat 20.
what is your dexterity?
+0.
Okay. So, Junie, just to help you, Talia will go before me.
Yeah, I had thought I had turned on the percentage of using the, the percentile. I have the advantage rolls, but it looks like it didn't actually stick, so that's fair. Let me get these on the board here.
I rolled real good, and then night just comes by with that +4 bonus and beat it still. Super cool champion guy with dex.
I'm confused. Holly has 2 rolls here, and the first one's a nat 20, and the second one is a 7.
Yeah, I don't know why I rolled twice.
It rolled both with... Yeah, well, no, it rolled both with advantage. The first one is a 20 and a 15.
Right.
The second
But I'm
one is a
thinking
1 and a 6.
I'm thinking it double fired the mod to do the roll because it rolls with advantage at one roll anyways when you already have the advantage on your initiative from D&D Beyond. So I'm just taking the advantage roll from the first roll for the initiative.
Okay.
And because
So weird.
because the token was active when it did the second roll, it overwrote the result of the first roll. So that's why I manually just updated it.
It's really weird the way this whole thing fucking works.
Oh boy, I just realized. I'm not sure how you all can actually see these things yet.
No. We cannot. They haven't moved into our line of vision.
Yay.
But suffice to say, you hear things that are moving from this direction.
Because of how large my field of view is, and because I can't be surprised, can I see what these creatures are?
You can, and you can also inform everyone else if you would like as to what you see, because they can't really make it out very well apparently because of
I
the
can see.
You see some awkward-looking plant-like forms moving from the trees in the swamp down below. They look like some kind of, not really golem, but some kind of like living being, I guess, a plant-based living being, kind of looking like a tree that is animated in a way.
Did you finally find the Entwives?
Yes, finally found the Entwives. Here they are.
For the reasons they're gone.
They are commonly known as a woodwode.
Google.
I'm sorry, but did John get a lisp for a moment and meant to say Wood
He
Road?
specifically said Wood Woad, as in Peter Parker. The alliteration.
And I have given you an image that is linked currently in the chat to display what they actually look like.
That's adorable.
No, it's not. It's horrible. Kill it with fire.
Wait, how big is it? You said it's a humanoid form?
Yes.
Excellent.
That doesn't mean much. It means it could just be a small-sized creature, too. Because
It's not
halflings
our-
are a thing.
It's at our waists.
So
I'm gonna
seeing these things come out, Holly's gonna just go. I think the trees are alive here.
Well, I mean, yes. Do you mean they're moving?
Yes, and they're not. They don't look very friendly. They're
Yeah,
kind of
weapons
coming
and
at us.
shields.
Oh, goody.
So, quick question here. Does Holly's nat 20 go before my not nat 20, or is it initiative just number based?
Initiative is number based, unless
Okay.
I specifically wanted to enact any special rules based upon natural 20s on initiative, but because a lot of dex-based character classes or rogues have ridiculously high initiative modifiers, it really doesn't make a difference to have anything special occur for natural crits when, you have like a rogue roll a 27 and not have it be like a nat crit on initiative, but someone else does and it's 20. It'd be like, oh, well, their 27 is bigger of a number, but yeah, it's like, so, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's just my take on it, but
Thank you, Kita.
Yeah.
so she lets you know that they are alive and well. And I will bring them into view for you a little better as I bring them towards you. But there we go. This is we'll begin combat round now. So Zin, you are now up, and you heard the noises of sloshing water in this direction. So even if you are currently not able to see any instances of entities on the map in that direction, you at least know what direction they are coming from.
Yes, sir. That's my full movement right there.
Okay.
Draw my sword. Does drawing my sword take an action?
No, I would assume you probably already had it at the ready anyways, because,
I would like to think so, but,
You're in flame tongue.
I never said that, so.
You said you lit your sword last time.
Oh, I did. I was trying to get bonus viewing from. That's right, my sword's already on fucking fire. Okay. I'm gonna swing at the one to my right. Completely blaze past that one down to the south and just.
so so this one is just here, and you're attacking this one.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my great weapon master stuff. I gotta. $15.
15 is a miss.
Wow. Shit.
I think you know what that is.
17.
17 is a miss.
Wow. All right. Well, I won't be using my great weapon master feat. Shit. Um. Yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Holly, you were up.
Okay, I'm gonna use my feline agility. It doesn't take an action or anything.
Mhm.
Did a double my movement speed, and I want to get down here.
Okay.
And I would like to rage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take some attacks.
Okay.
Does she have advantage?
Yes,
Excellent.
because of your positioning.
Wow.
Second one is a hit for 11.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just hang out here.
Okie doke. This plant woodwode being over here begins its turn, where it will come into play, sensing that you are now, in fact, definitely intruders, and will strike at Cowrie with its club arm for two attacks. First swing is a miss. Second swing is a hit. That does 15 bludgeoning. Mm-hmm. Cowrie, it's your turn.
I'm gonna try and hit it with my hammer.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That is a hit.
And yeah, I'll stay there in the pen.
Okay. Granny, you're up.
I'm going to cast Scorching Ray and target the 3 that I can currently see. So, because I don't know if there are more than 3 based on what I'm seeing.
That is a fair assessment to make.
And that is my total attack roll.
Okay, so spell attack 20.
Yep.
Which is a hit.
And then each will take 1 ray with... Oh, wait, no, I need to make that attack roll each time, don't I?
Yep,
I would
right. Separate
imagine.
attack.
Oh, okay, so we'll say that's the one near Cowrie.
Okay.
Okay, so then moving south, we'll go with the one next. Susan's right. 18 spell attack. And then the last one. The other one.
So first one hit, second one missed, third one hit. As you see them hit with the scorching ray, and they seem to take some excessive damage from it, from what they normally would.
It's like
God.
wood burns.
Let me hit them.
Yes. And then Granny is going to move 5, 10, 15 right up here.
Okay.
Taking up a defensive position next to Zin. Next person.
All right. Nokris, you're up.
I will. I will cast Firebolt. I will cast it at this one.
Which one? I didn't see any ping, but is it the northmost? Okay.
It's
Yep.
the one by Calorie.
'Kay.
Although I unfortunately miss
Yes.
with a 12. Then I will just move. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I will move here.
All right. Very well.
That will be my turn.
Sounds good. All right. It is now this one's turn. It will attempt to strike Zin with its clubby, stubby arm. Gnarled wood just shapen directly out of its own arm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when you click the firebolt, it rolls your damage for you.
Mm-hmm.
So its first strike is a crit. And its second strike is a miss. So the first strike is a crit, landing for 23 bludgeoning damage.
Is that taking into account my adamantine armor?
It is not. So if you are uncrittable, the hit still lands because it is a 27 for the hit roll.
Jesus.
And it will deal 14 instead of 23.
Thank you and sorry.
No, hey. Is these things, we have that lapse in time when I forget that everyone is stacked against me defensively.
He's stacked against you. I just want to live.
And that is the end of its turn. And it is now the next one's turn down here, where it is going to attempt to strike at Holly. Its first swing is a 16, so it would hit for 15 bludgeoning, but you take half, if I remember, for resistance when you're in rage, so that's 8. And the second swing is an 11, which misses. Thus ending its turn. But you hear the clamoring noise from the south as well of something large, or some things that may be large, kind of making some commotion and rushed noises. Heading appears to sound as if it's getting closer from the mouth of the cave.
Joy.
But Zin, it is your turn.
Well, since I have advantage on the one to my southwest now, I'm going to make a few attacks on it.
Uh, 18 is a hit, and a 12 is not. Oh, well, you have advantage, right? So yeah, they're derp.
Correct.
So yes, both are a hit. Let me calculate damage here.
Ooh!
Alright, so, first strike, you're attacking the one in between you and Holly, or are you attacking the one, the one between you and Holly, correct?
Correct.
Alright, so, first attack is Great Sword, slashing, damage, and fire damage. So we're looking at, okay, so, get that, okay. Second attack is... Okay. And then the third attack. The third attack obliterates it into all splintered wood ready for a campfire, but maybe a little soggy now that it's in the water.
And it's already on fire.
I mean, until it hits the water, then it's pretty much not.
Okay.
Well, that's
As a bonus action, I'm going to resume my original onslaught onto the one to my east.
Okay. As a hit. Let me calculate that. Okay. Alright, so it has been hit.
Yep, that's all I can do. That fourth attack was simply from my great weapon master attack. So
Fair enough.
After I score that hit, I've still got move. I'm gonna reposition myself to the opposite side of it without going down south, so I don't provoke an attack of opportunity from the one to my north.
Got you. So basically you loop around it, effectively rotating around the one to the south.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll just point out as well that in the future, when you're rolling combat against something with multiple strikes, don't just drop them all at once. Wait until I calculate everything out and tell you, because you would have killed that one probably after the second strike and would have saved a third strike before your bonus strike to be able to do on the other target.
Yes, sir.
So.
Oof. The biggest of oofs.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Holly, you're up.
I'm gonna slide on in between Talia and this guy. I'm gonna take some wax.
Okay. Make sure you roll with advantage. You certainly did. So the first one is a hit, which criticals. It is, let's see here. I'm not sure what the 10 is all about at the end, but I see 6 plus 2 from crit. Is
plus 3 from rage.
Plus 3 from rage, so it would basically be 11 damage. And what's the 10 all about?
vicious critical.
Okay.
I say, doesn't she get a bonus die roll for crits?
Correct, which is what the 1d12 is for 10. So that's 11 plus 10 is 22. And the second one is a miss.
Okay,
And
I stay
it's
here.
Still there. Okay. It is now this one's turn. It is going to attempt to swing at Nokris with its stubby little arm. First strike is a hit.
Joke.
For 12 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Second strike is a miss.
Gotcha.
Alright, thus ends its turn. Calor, you're up.
I'm gonna reach out and try and hit it with an inflict wounds at second level.
Okay. 18 is a hit for 21.
And I'll end my fight. I'm going to reposition a bit to here and end my turn.
Okay. Tale, you're up.
Well, damn, y'all. Like, shit, not gonna leave me anything, huh?
You're talking about there's still 2 monsters on the board.
Alright, alright. Okay, well, I think Zen's got those pretty handled, so I'm gonna go up here and attack this one. Specifically by casting Green Flame Blade. So start with the attack with the scimitar. And
19
then
is a hit.
sweet. Followed by the actual spell, which actually gets a chance to go off. Yeehaw! For 13 initial, but the second, the 15, has nowhere to go. So
Okay.
I just wanted the 13 initial fire.
Okay.
And then
It is-
because I cast a cantrip, bonus action to do one more. Unless it's dead.
Nope, I was just saying it is bathed in your green flame and takes its damage. 27
Okay.
is in fact a hit for 9 damage.
Jeez. All right. Let's rock and roll.
Which-
Next person.
Which cuts it down into kindling.
Damn, how am I at +9?
It's a +2 weapon, isn't it?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Donna.
Oh, yeah, true. It's a finesse weapon, but I can still use my strength with it, so. I do have 3, 4. Yep. I get it. So, next person. Scaly, your turn.
All right then.
Go right ahead.
I will move down here. It's 15 feet, and then I will attack it with advantage.
Mm-hmm. Is a hit.
Okay, so that is
16 slashing.
And then I will attack again because I have 2 attacks with my one action.
Mhm.
Now, and a nat 20 for
It is also kindling.
there you go. We now have lots of kindling that will raise questions about our morals if used.
But is quickly becoming soggy. So, effectively then, as these beings have been laid to waste, the impeding and approaching noise from the south continues, and among you, you hear a crashing splash as 2 large creatures reach down to the waters below from the cave above.
I'm sorry, did you say reach?
Well, they basically jump down. So,
Okay.
Water, he meant.
I was like, them some long ass arms.
It'll be
and
fine.
as they jump down, they then will take their movements, unless Nokris, you probably will. I'm assuming having killed that is effectively the end of your turn. I doubt that you would have made any motions prior to this.
Would not have, just
Yep.
because I was not fully aware of where they were.
Or what?
What the fuck are these things?
So,
That's an owl bear!
this is an owl bear.
He cute and fuzzy when he little. When he get big, he angry.
How long
It's
is
so
them out?
What was that, Jackie?
I want one as a mount. Juni, let me grapple one.
Okay.
Control.
With the most
You
iconic
cannot
D&D
tame owlbears.
monsters.
All right. So first owl bear that makes its way down will take its turn. And we'll move into position where it is there. It will attempt to claw at Holly.
No, I just want to ride you.
Giggity.
Wait, were you talking to Knockers or the owlbear?
Yes.
I saw
Yes,
that coming.
yes is the correct answer.
There's only one
it's
answer.
16, so it ties for 15 slashing.
Is that halved?
That is not halved, so having it would be 8 again.
Okay.
And the second owlbear coming up around from behind this tree over here, coming into view, makes it stop there as it can't go any further, and will just kind of aggressively make its weird squeaky roar, as an owl yet bear, thus ending its turn. Zin, you're up.
Can I stand there?
You can, yeah. That is a grid square that is available. Any one of those four directional grids, as you can see, has 4 grids inside of it. It's not really well highlighted over the layer of the water.
I more meant that because it kind of is halfway cliff face.
Right, and the cliff face is only really denoted that way to show you that it's a vertical lift, rather than just being like, here is a drawn line for where the wall is. But yes, you can stand in that grid square.
Standing there would give me advantage on attack rolls with Holly.
Yes.
Zin's gonna rush over this way behind the beast
Mm-hmm.
and to lay into it. Big monsters probably don't have a huge AC, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Dragon Day season only like 3.
Why don't we go ask the dead Chimera?
That is not a hit. That is a hit. So that's what? 13 slashing and 7 fire with 10 weapon master damage.
Yeah, I'm using my great weapon master rolls.
Okay.
So I'm taking a -5 to hit at +10 damage.
Okay.
And I've got one more.
It's 20, 30. I'm just totaling out all the damage there. Continue.
It's still standing.
It is. So 19 is a hit for 25. Okay.
Yep.
Well, if I didn't have its attention before, I definitely do now.
As I said, super cute when they're younger, but then they grow up and become like any other bear.
That will end my turn.
All right, very well. Holly, you're up.
I'm going to begrudgingly attack this thing.
Okay.
Only because it's being a bitch.
Trades in for it.
John, can I assume that since they came at us, like, right after that my rage didn't drop, or...
Correct. You're still in combat. You didn't end combat, basically. Okay, so the first one kills it.
Okay. I will guess 10, 15, 20, 25. Can I use my full movement to get over here? And do you want me to just take another swing, or do you just want to take that 8 or whatever it is?
You mean from your prior swing? Yeah,
Yes.
I will have it take 8, but just for future rolls, don't get so clicky and
Yeah.
making it weird.
Sorry, it's hard to not do it because I have to go through different tabs.
All good. So it will take 8 points of damage. And I assume it's Calorie's turn.
I'm towards the dead. At the owlbear.
No, at me.
All right,
Do me.
So it needs to pass DC 17 to take 10. Potentially take 10, or take less?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, because of the cantrip.
3d12, a 4, a 1, and a 5.
It succeeds.
I'll move there and end my turn.
Okay. Granny, you're up.
I thing on the field, so
It's to your southeast.
Yeah, you hear commotion and combat going on to the southeast.
alrighty then. So 5. Are we doing, what is it, every other?
You can go
Or
diagonals.
Okay, so there's 10. Oh, look, an owlbear. 15, 20. Cool, I'm within reach.
Mhm.
So I started blasting. This time we're gonna do. Let's do Booming Blade. Scimitar. I want to try something real quick because there's a link in Beyond 20. Hey, it rolls everything on one page.
Yes, it
I
does.
don't
You
have
get
to do
booming blade
15.
damage and the residual booming blade damage. Okay.
With both of those rolls suck.
All right. So, 24 to hit with your scimitar is a hit for 10 slashing, then 5 initial thunder.
And if it decides to move it all for some stupid reason, then it takes another 10. Before, is it the end of my next turn, I believe? Or the beginning of my next turn?
I believe that's the case, yeah. The start of your next turn.
Start of my next turn, yes. And then, of course, good old war magic. So that means extra scimitar attack. Hell yeah. I got a nat 20, first one in a while.
So it is a hit for 10.
Woohoo. That is some crit roll. I think that completes my turn at this point.
All right, very well. Knocker, you're up.
Okay. I will then move here. And I will attack the owl bear.
Okay.
I believe I do not have advantage on this roll, correct?
That is correct.
27 to hit,
That is a hit.
12 points of slashing. And then my next sword stroke is 22 to hit,
Is a hit for
for
another
another
12.
12 points of slashing.
Mhm.
And that will end my turn.
Very well. The bear is wounded, but still there.
Eat the big bear.
So in the current situation, it is going to attempt to attack you, Nokris, as you just were most recent to lace into it, as it is now surrounded. So it will swing at you with a double claw attack. So its first claw strike is an 18,
That will
which
hit
will
me.
hit for 14 slashing.
Okay.
Its second strike is a 19 for 11.
Okay.
And thus ends its turn. Zin, you're up.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Can I stand here?
Mm-hmm. That is not a hit. That is a hit for, what, 30 damage?
Looks like it.
And it expires the bear into the water. You hear no further commotion or anything else coming at you.
To the cave.
Yep. Let's continue to the west.
I want to take a minute to look over the bodies of the bugbears just to see if there's anything off about them other than the normal, like, we just beat the shit out of this thing.
Okay, yep. Inspecting the owlbears, you find that there is nothing different about them in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. I want to take a bunch of their feathers with me before we leave.
All right.
I'm gonna drink a healing potion while I'm walking with the others.
All right. Go ahead and maneuver yourselves where you would like to go.
Zin's looking longingly at these corpses like he really wants to just stand there and gut them. And, take their hides, but more important things to do, I guess.
Yes.
Dragons and whatever.
All right. So,
Ow.
making your way to the cliff wall.
Yep.
Let's see. Climbing the cliff walls will require a strength check. Because they are vined, the strength check is lessened. So in order to climb up the wall at the 20-foot distance required to reach to the next level, go ahead and give me a strength athletics for your attempts at climbing the distance.
Are we doing? You're not doing saving throws, just a straight check.
Athletics.
Yep.
Yeah, so just roll athletics for the climb. So Zin attempts to go up and makes it the first 5 feet up the wall before a vine snaps and he drops back down to the ground, kind of sloshing into the unstable mud and muck underneath the surface of the bog. Cowrie climbs up, no problem whatsoever, despite his excessive size. Nokris and Holly both make their way up without any incident whatsoever.
Granny is the nimblest of them all.
Granny also makes it up. And if Zin would like to reattempt his ability to climb the wall, he can do so. Okay, yeah. Round 2, he was a little more sure-footed with his grip strength on vines, and maybe it was just that one was weak or something. That's what happened.
Not that I'm like, made of stone or anything.
No, nothing. No, exactly. So
You tore that line out.
upon reaching the second level, you see among the area 4 statues and a whole boatload of kind of like, not really fungus, but some kind of like growth on the wall material that is this similar phosphorescent, if it gets photoluminescent like green in this cave along all the walls, and it's more visibly pronounced now that you're kind of inside of the overhang of this cave. The statues that you see next to you, you see a couple of statues, one to your north, one to your south, and another slightly off to the west. And among the rest of the cave, you see some stalagmites that are on the ground, kind of rising up, where the feeling and I guess the air of the cave has kind of increased to be more of a warm, humid, thick, kind of soupy feeling environment as you get inside, almost like the temperature in the cave is increased compared to that of the outside in the forest.
None.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, but never use the word soupy to describe an environment again.
But hey, if it's an oppressively humid and hot area, I think the word soupy kind of works for describing the feel.
How
Soupy.
about moist?
The
I
air
was
is
avoiding
damp.
I was avoiding using moist because some people don't like the word, but I guess better than soupy maybe, I don't know.
I prefer moist.
Okay, fair enough.
We know you do.
Strewn among the growing fungus, let's call it for lack of a better phrase, you see it basically beginning to grow and creep over the remains of ghouls, skeletons, zombies, and other undead that are around the ground, the floor in this cave area. Basically, they're torn asunder and ripped in pieces and everything else as much as you can tell, but the growth of the cave appears to be kind of consuming them slowly.
What are these statues of exactly?
Okay, so go ahead and give me a perception, if you could, please.
Yeah. 20.
Okay, so from your perception, you can tell a few different things about the current environment, including the statues.
Mm-hmm.
So within your line of sight, this statue here, the statue depicts a that's the wrong one, a half-elf wearing plate armor emblazoned with the symbol of Tyr, which is 2 scales in balance, resting on a warhammer. The statue is of a female half-elf. They were a heroic paladin, and they attacked Neverwinter previously from your denotation of history, because all these individuals appear to be prominent female figures from the history of the region. So your ability to recognize them is not that far off in terms of the roll that you gave me for your perception and recognition.
Mm-hmm.
They attacked Neverwinter as the city's leaders and unjustly had executed their lover. And this particular individual's name used to be the Lady Arabeth del Tilmarand. But I guess you could shorten it to simply be a Lady Arabeth.
Okay.
The statue over here is one Danica Bonaducci, a lean-muscled human wearing simple clothes. She has her fists raised in an unarmed fighting stance, and she was once a rather heroic monk that led the spirit-soaring cathedral in the Snowflake Mountains.
Are all of the statues female that I can discern?
All the statues you can currently see are of female forms.
Okay, interesting. And they're all renowned for doing heroic things for the region in some capacity, correct?
Some kind of heroic feat, either against unjust, like tyrannical reign, or
Right.
whatever other thing, either being a hero or a shining beacon within their realm of influence, or something of that nature.
Right. They were exemplary, is pretty much okay. And yes, Talia.
Yes, and if you recognize the name Lady Arabeth from the Neverwinter games, you probably recognize that one as well.
Interesting. Why are there statues of these people here? I'm going to, with that knowledge of what I'm seeing here, I'm going to move in 1, 2, 3, 5. Move in a little bit further so I can see this statue
Mhm.
and get a better idea of who they might be.
Okay. So as you move in, I don't know if anyone else would like to enter the cave any more than standing at the entrance, but as you move in, you recognize an additional statue in front of you. The statue in front of you see is of one Vajra Safar, a human depicted with short hair, wearing practical yet fine clothing, and a wolf-headed rune-covered staff in her hands that is taller than she is. This individual, Vajra, is the current Black Staff and Archmage of the city of Waterdeep.
And then Knight had a question.
Mm-hmm. Do the statues look like they were moved here, or were they built here? So in further investigation of the statues, they appear as if they were moved here, not that they were crafted here. But looking at the statues themselves, you can denote that more or less they are about 10 feet in height, give or take, and have the estimated weight of about 1,000 pounds. So, a little on the heavy side, and definitely not constructed in their places where they are.
And I guess
Thank
to play off of that, Junie, you said that moss has started to grow on them, correct?
It has begun to grow on the walls and the floors and the stalagmites and things, but the statues do not have any of the moss growing upon them.
Okay. So that could mean they're a more recent addition. Got it.
Knockers, these statues interest you?
They are of rather exemplary women throughout the region that we're in. The one over there, as I point to Lady Arabeth, she rose against Neverwinter's tyrannical leader during her time because they killed her lover unjustly. The one to her south is of Danica, a very well-known monk in the region, or the Snowflake Mountains, and her leadership there. And then the final one is of Lady Vajra, the current Archmage of Waterdeep. It's interesting that they're here. They're relatively heavily, and they're newer additions to this place because they were not built here, as Zin is kind of taking notice of, and there's no moss on them, so they haven't been here as long for things to accumulate on them. Which then leads me to ask you, Junie, a question. What material are they made out of?
These statues are made of a marble-esque stone. So it probably is marble, but what's listed here is basically that they are simply made of a lightly colored stone, but I'm going to just call it marble because
That's fine.
it's easier for me to depict that in my head and be able to describe it.
The very...
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You said there were 4 statues in here?
Yes.
I was trying to get to that, but everybody kept talking. Holly was going to point out to Nakaris that there's another statue to the southwest.
When she points that out, I will then move so that I can see it.
Mm-hmm. So as you continue to move to the southwest, you see that another figure to the southwest that you previously had thought maybe was simply a stalagmite comes into form and appears to be a 4th statue present. As you enter into the cave a little further and begin to then inspect the statue, everyone go ahead and give me a Constitution save, as the spores and fungus around you. The fungus around you releases a cloud of spores.
Quick question for you, Junie.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be a disease of some type?
I will get to that momentarily here and let you know what happens.
Right.
Okay, so here's the gist of how this breaks down. Cowrie resists the effect of the spores. Talia falls prey to it. Zin falls prey to it. Holly resists it. Nakaris also resists it. The 2 that fell prey to it, however, do not feel any ill effects.
So are you saying this like we notice that we feel something, or this is just insidious?
You notice that the spores basically were released and that you kind of maybe gasped as you saw them quickly inhaling some of them and feel no ill effect. However, they have had some effect upon you, but you don't feel anything adverse at this time.
We know they got in there, though.
That they've affected anyone yet. It's basically, these will affect them, they just don't know yet.
Yes. That is a good way to summarize that, I guess I should say.
Oui.
After the commotion of that, drawing your attention back to the 4th statue. The 4th statue is a female human with long hair plaited in elaborate braids, wearing a magnificent flowing robe. Her name is Lyrel Silverhand, and she is the Open Lord of Waterdeep, and one of the 7 sisters chosen by Mystra.
There you go.
Finally!
And what was her name again? Larry.
Lyra Silverhand?
Yeah, Lyrel Silverhand. Laerel Silverhand.
Is her statue
Huh?
is her statue the same condition as the others?
Yes, the statue is in position where it is currently standing, does not appear to be of this cave, and was moved in, is about the same height, estimating of the same weight, and is currently not in consumption or at all affected by the growth of fungus around it.
This is Laerel Silverhand, but I feel Talia is probably more apt to disclose information about her than I am.
Oh, that's a fair possibility. Maybe. Probably don't know anything about her personally.
If he recalls
but,
it information, Granny.
Fine. Okay, you want me to take the religion or the arcana approach? I can give you the magical implications of Laerel's position, or I can give you the religious ones.
While she is going through this, I I should have probably done this sooner, but...
All right, noted, Holly.
What
Which one
color
would
is...
you? Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. Since you asked your question first, I'm just not sure if you heard.
I was just gonna say, which one would you like me to roll? Because honestly, between the magical side of things or the religious side of things, I wouldn't know much about her history-wise.
Yeah, it would basically either be religious based, is probably your closest tie, I would think.
Yep. So yeah, the rolls are actually the same, but I will take the religion angle, yes. Can I roll with advantage since she's the a pretty major figure within my specific religion?
Sure. So yes, you effectively are well informed about her history and her presence among the holy circles of Mr.
So, yeah. Do I need to recite that
No,
off the top of my head?
effectively, you can denote her background and her history in more lengthy detail about her exploits for anyone that is interested to hear them, but I don't know if any of that further detail involved with her background has any bearing or importance on anything happening at the moment.
So wait a sec. You said there's Lady Erebeth,
Mm-hmm.
Danica Bondadoos,
Mm-hmm.
Laeral Silverhand.
And Vajra Safar.
You said there's only 4 statues out here?
There are 4 statues in this area, yes.
Okay, there's got to be some connection between those 4, because, I mean, immediately I can think that they're probably all powerful women, but, especially from this region, but, why would they have statues out here?
That was the question that Knight and I were getting to in asking about were they moved or built here and how long have they been here, and my question about the material that they're made out of.
Alright, cool, so, alright, we're all coming to the same conclusion, then.
Potentially. Depends on what else we find, but my question, Junie, what color is this moss?
So the color of the moss is kind of like a greenish,
Okay.
tinted, whatever you want to call it, growth.
That's fine. It doesn't give basically what I was asking is, does it give off a warning sign of I'm a bright color, therefore?
It does not.
Okay, then I don't really notice anything, just that the spores popped up. Okay, well, the statues are here. If they're here, that means they're more than likely moved considering how much they weigh and what the material that they're made of, which is marble. Which either means that the dragon possibly idolizes these women in some way, or she liked the construction of the statues and thought they had value of some type, maybe. But it's harder to tell until we get more information. Let's continue forward and let's try not to step in huge passages of moss anymore.
Does this moss look familiar at all, Junie?
The particular, I guess, species of moss does not appear familiar to you in any way that you're familiar with it.
Okay.
So it's not something you've encountered previously.
I was just thinking about that weird moss with the other dragon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ben's gonna go up north.
Okay. So as you are exploring the western edge of this cave, you see that you've come upon the cliff face. It opens up over a cavern to the west. If you would like to look over to see what's further down below, you are able to and capable of it. You also do see a cave opening that opens out to the north. But otherwise, you have no other directions to go beyond the way that you entered.
I will step over here just so I can see a little bit more, but not go down the wall, because it's a downward slope, you said, correct?
Yeah, it's basically a cliff. So, all right, so about 20-ish feet, give or take, down below you. Actually, maybe I think it's deeper. I think it's deeper than that. Let me get the actual distance. Yes, so 60 feet below you, there is a pool of dark green, writhing and bubbling slime. You are unable to determine the actual depth of said slime that is below. However, in among the cave you see a familiar fungus moss on the walls, giving a faint glowing green coloration. You can see some small little islands that stick up from the pools, probably only about 5 feet above the actual surface of the slime itself. And, among this cavern, you see that it runs north and south, more or less, and that there are a few little islands visible in the area. There are some other details and things that you can roughly make out that some of you maybe have better vision to be able to determine is there, but others maybe cannot.
Is there any... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to quickly ask, is there any debris near me at all, John, like rocks or wood or anything?
If you dig around in the fungus that's grown on things, you may be able to find some debris that you could pick up.
You know what? Sure.
Okay. So you rummage around in the fungus overgrowth and do find a probably palm-sized rock that's kind of dislodged itself from the wall.
Okay. I'm going to take it, kind of toss it up and down and heft it, and then I'm going to throw it into the gunk, if you will, and see what happens, and see if what I think is going to happen happens.
Okay. Throwing the rock into the pool of slime, you see it kind of slap upon the surface, where it kind of seems to float there for a few moments, and then slowly begins to sink into it as you see a sizzling and bubbling presence come off of it, looking as if it is being eroded or burned, and it begins to sink before releasing its final little wisps of presence out of the muck and disappearing under the surface.
We are going this way.
As Knockers is doing all this, she approaches from behind and points a bit off into the distance in one direction and then in the other direction, and says 5 and 6.
5 and 6 statues.
Statues.
Interesting. Are you able to describe what they look like at all?
Mr. DM.
You can, sure. So basically, recanting what you see of the statue number 5, which we'll call the northern one, is you make out a woman, a human female, wearing plate armor, carrying a shield emblazoned with the image of a dragon. They were a brave knight in service as the regent of Cormyr. And that information, based upon the image that you see on the shield and the female figure wearing the armor, you are effectively able to determine Nokris and or Holly based upon your history background of the area, as the individual's name is Alusair Nicatia Obersky. Yes, because if you sat there for a moment and tried to Google Regent of Cormyr or anything about Cormyr and a female figure, you probably denoted the name. It's like all of your dreams from other games are coming true in this one cave.
Caves? Fun. These are from books. I read
I mean, all
so
the
many
above.
Forgotten Realms books.
Okay, so she was a region of Cormier.
Hmm.
Good
And
one.
what about the other one?
So, Holly relays to you a female figure wearing chainmail with a long sword having a winged hilt upon it. Recognizing this individual from their denoted features, you're able to determine that their name is Storm Silverhand, another of the 7 sisters chosen by Mystra.
The fact that they're all female just further points to the point that this dragon definitely has appreciation for them and their deeds, I would feel, in some regard. That they're powerful, and they're all localized to the Neverwinter region, correct?
Yes, more or less. They're part of the Sword Coast, history.
Okay. And this does kind of coincide with what we were told, that she does like information and history and knowledge, so we might be able to play this to our advantage in some way. But let's continue and see what other things we may find that are here that do not come from here. Also, as I look towards the others who are not near us, don't go near anything that looks like green liquid or algae. It's acid and it will burn you.
Shrug.
Okay then.
Zin shrugs and waves to the northern part of the cave and says, "I'm going to go investigate."
Probably not a bad idea. Holly, do you see anything else over there that we need to be aware of?
Not from here. I could make it across this very easily if you wanted me to investigate, but I cannot see anything else from this cliff.
While the idea is sound, I don't trust this pool of acid. I fear there might be fumes, and I would not have you risk your life for information that we could maybe glean from some other safer method.
That, and it's like 60 feet down, so once you figure out the pathing of which you're going to attempt to get down that distance, and then try to use your agility to cross maybe the surface or something of that nature, I don't know how you plan to get back up.
I was going to wild shape into a bird.
That's another option. Yep.
I figured that's what she was going to do, but I don't know if this stupid pit has fumes that could affect her, and I'd rather her not become affected, drop down 60 feet in the middle of nowhere, and start to be eaten alive by the acid.
Correct.
Just gonna run across for a second.
I mean, as like the similar themes you're seeing among all these caves as you get into them is you see the walls have the that glowing greenish moss kind of fungus on them, so you have a dim presence of light, and there's vines and stuff that are growing like wild things on the walls and ceilings and stuff, simply because it's like everything in here is like vibrantly growing is the best way I can describe it.
Are there any kind of animals that we've seen so far in this cave at all?
0.
Okay. No bugs, nothing like that.
No insects.
Okay. I can barely make out what may be another island towards that direction, and I'll just point. But I think the safest route for now would just be to continue north with the large one.
I would agree. Let's do that then. And make sure he doesn't run into anything bigger than him on his own.
Very well. Alright, so approaching to the north, as you make your way through this winding passage with the similar moss, fungus, and vines, you enter
No more spores.
You enter a room where you see and just kind of hold up there for a second for me, guys, to not continue to move in too far. You see
So here's good.
yeah, that's fine. And knockers can, there you go. So you can move up from where you were, but you see inside the room a small ledge overlooking a slime pool down below, like you similarly saw looking over the cliff on the other side. The slime pool has about a 10-foot long, 2-foot diameter moss-covered log sitting near the ledge, almost as if it's potentially been used before for previous things. Across the chasm of the slime, you see on the opposite side another little area or island that is raised up with vines and similar things, but otherwise you don't see anything too crazy. And let's see. I just have to look at people's passive wisdom here.
9.
I think we have somebody that has 15 or higher without me going
Me?
through everything. So based upon this,
Oh wait, that's perception. Never mind.
with perception, no, with perception.
19. I mean,
So yes.
24.
So with your visibility in this room and your perception, you are able to see that in. Actually, let me get my little tool out here to draw because it's easier. Over in this vicinity right here, very low down on the wall, in among the acid pool, you see that there is a small tunnel entrance that has maybe about a foot and a half clearance on the surface of the slime that goes into the wall and assumedly connecting to the other room with the pool of acid.
Wait a minute. So is this pool of acid up here still 60 feet below us?
Yes.
Okay.
But otherwise, all the other features are present in this room. Vines among the walls and ceilings, and the damp and warm atmosphere. And like I noted, there's that log, and across the way is the other side of this bridge, or across the way is the other side of this room is another island. And roughly like the log is, let's say, like, here is your log. Yay. And there is another cave that continues to the east. You hear some noise from the cave to the east, but have not yet been able to determine or see if there is anything present in there currently.
Well, I'm not too keen on trying my luck on sliding down 60 feet for that small-ass clearance. Just to go into another acid-filled room. And I'm a better fighter than I am anything else, so...
Yes, the log is there. Well done.
Thanks.
Can I get some circles around it to make sure we know?
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, I thought you were talking circles on the ends of it to see the ends of the log.
That's exactly what I wanted.
I'm just going to drag those out of the way for a second.
How dare.
I realized I had to recenter the camera on the stream too because it was still a little more to the south and couldn't see everything in the north half of the room. So, but yes, that is basically where you are currently.
Who wants to go east?
Okay, so we have Big Deep Acid Chasm to the left. And we have what to the east?
Tunnel.
More tunnel. But we don't really have an option because that hole is very small. Like you said, it was only like 1.5 feet or something, right, John?
There is 1.5 feet's worth of clearance from the slime, acid slime, and the hole that makes the tunnel. So basically, you have enough space to be able to breathe as you continue to make your way through, but you also don't know the depth of the acid below.
So I could make it through. Like if I wild shape and go through it, I could make it through, but you guys won't make it through. Unless you want to go for an acid swim.
Oh, so there's nothing on the other side of the acid.
Well, on the other side of the acid, the other acid.
The other side in that room across there is basically just like similar to what you're standing on right now. It's just like a cave section that is on the opposite side of the room. There's nothing crazy that you can see. There's just vines and moss and whatever other regular stuff that you've seen as you've been making your way through here.
So wait, I'm confused. What's all this talk about a tiny hole?
Nothing. We're going east. Let's go.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
All right.
Go east.
So, as you begin to make your way to the east down the tunnel, so just kind of move into the tunnel a little bit for me like that. That would be perfect. Yep, there you go. As you begin to move in that direction down the tunnel, you come upon the scene. I have to scroll up to a different room, so 1 second. Alright, so to the east you begin to enter a cave section where you start to make out the signs of webs covering the walls and vines, as well as the fungus in this particular section of the cave, as well as the ceiling. In the middle of the room, you find 2 presumed druids based upon their look and their garb, currently standing there among a pack of phase spiders clinging to the webs on the walls.
Not face spiders.
As they are feeding them remains and pieces of corpses of ghouls.
I like them already.
What's
Yeah,
a
I don't-
phase spider?
I don't think they're gonna like
I
us.
don't want
A
to know.
phase spider
Is
think it's
something we
nothing
can roll a
organic.
nature check for?
is that?
Let me ask you this here, Knight. Do you like spiders, or do you have like a phobia of them, or a dislike, or anything like that?
Eh.
Was that yes or no?
I don't really care for them, but I don't like dislike them.
Okay. You'll have fun with phase spiders once Junie shows off what they can do.
No, you
So-
won't. He's
I
lying.
promise.
So, question: do these druids take notice of us yet?
At the current moment in time, the focus of the druids is one of handing pieces of ghoul to a pair of spiders on the cave walls, and they have not quite caught your visual presence. The spiders on the wall are kind of hungrily paying attention to the druids, but will quickly figure out your presence, as you are also a potential other snack for them to consume, rather than having to wait to be fed.
Does Knockers have enough
Okay,
time
so
to cast
no
Fireball?
time for a potential tucky of druid. Do not sick your spider pack on us. Got it.
You have a few moments to make a split decision on the progress of what is about to unfold before you.
Fireball. Fireball. I can't do it yet, so you have to.
So my split decision.
Are they women?
They are women, yes, I believe. Are they actually, Junie?
The druids in this room, let me scroll up to the things for the names for these people. Ba, 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 ba. Yes, both of these druids are female.
I think my question's going to be answered for me on what's going to happen. Go ahead, Knight. Take it away, since I
Go
think you
get
have
'em,
something in
Tiger.
mind.
I don't know what you guys want me or were expecting me to do, but it was just a question.
Oh, I thought you were going to go somewhere with this. I mean, what I will do is, can I shout out to them to see if they'll let us pass, but if they look like they're going to be hostile, be ready to throw a fireball in there, Junie?
Sure. I can give you the benefit of having, let's call it, the prepared spell ready to rip, and also the ability to kind of exclaim to them a phrase or a sentence, but
Right.
not a full-blown dialogue before they react.
Correct. No, I'm going to see if saying, hello, we're looking for Gnawbone, can we pass? Or something to that effect. And if they look like they're going to let us pass, then I'm obviously not going to fireball them. If they look like they're going to be like, spiders, go enjoy a nice meal that's, actually alive, I'm not going to stand for becoming something snack. So, what I will do... Go ahead.
Before he does that, just seeing him kind of tense and getting ready, Holly is going to reach up and grab his arm and cast guidance.
Okay.
Okay. I will then call out and say, hello! We are looking for old Gnawbone. May we pass and talk with her if she resides in this cave without a fight?
The druids, alarmedly seeing your presence behind them inside the cave, react negatively to your presence and raise an alarm with the spiders, calling for them to attack. So go ahead and rip your fireball off, and we'll
Say my
see what
3 favorite
happens.
words.
And we'll see what
Say
we get
them.
out of it.
Don't forget you get that extra D4 if you need it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I do for what I'm going to do.
Oh, I was gonna say he doesn't actually have to roll dice for this.
Let's see.
Except for damage.
Oh. I'm just reading something really quickly. Actually, I'm going to cast a spell at them, but it's not going to be Fireball. I'm going to cast Ice Storm at 5th level.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
And let me just see.
Oh.
Okay.
You can hit me, Knockers. It's okay.
No, this is not going to hit you. This is actually perfect for where I'm going to cast it. I'm going to center it here. It's a 20-foot cylinder, or it's a 40-foot high cylinder that has a 20-foot radius, and I'm going to center it on this druid right here. So have everything within that 20-foot radius give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to roll for the druids first from outside in. So the one to the right rolls a 13. The one to the left rolls a 21.
Yep, that's a pass.
Then we'll go spiders from bottom right around the horn.
Yep, I'll just cast it now. There you go. Dexterity 15.
Bottom right is a fail. So, alright, so we got druid to the right, fail. Druid in the middle, succeed. Spider to the bottom right, fail. Spider to the bottom left, fail. Spider to the left, pass. Spider to the north left, pass. Spider to the north right, fail. So I'll mark these as passes so we can see it visually. So the others failed. So with the failing, so they take 7 bludgeoning and 14 cold, and I'm assuming have some kind of other status ailment or something.
So for those that failed, they take a total of 21 points of damage. 14 of it is cold, 7 of it is bludgeoning, if that matters. The ones that pass take half that, so they take 10 points of damage. Half of it, part of it cold, part of it bludgeoning. And the area that the cylinder affects becomes difficult terrain until the end of my next turn. So this entire room right here is difficult terrain so that we can kind of funnel them into us. And we can take it slowly. Was my goal. And hopefully that works. The save makes it so that they only take half damage, but the area is still difficult terrain for them.
Yep, fair. The spiders probably are not really affected by the difficulty in terrain because they could just ignore movement restriction based on webbing. But otherwise, the druids are definitely affected by the terrain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that is what I did as soon as I saw that they were not going to be happy about us.
Right. So, let's do this. Let me clear this out before anyone does anything more. Okay, now people can roll initiative for me.
Say, I already had my token selected. Jeez. Not that I needed to do anything. Fucking arthritis today.
Don't worry, Ty, we're safe in the back.
What do you mean safe in the back? I want to go up there and burn shit.
So, how big is this box?
The cylinder is a 20-foot radius, so literally it goes all the way up to here, and then it just kind of goes all the way around. And since I can't see any further without getting in, I don't know what's beyond this black range.
Kita's gonna enjoy this, but it's a whole bunch of wall.
Of course it is.
It's a whole bunch of wall. But let's just say, like, yeah, you have thoroughly frozen over, like, everything within that vicinity. You're good. It's cold. Everything is chilly. Yep, we're good.
The web's instant froze.
If only that would, make them brittle and make them not be able to support the spider's weight. But don't work like that.
Sadly, they're face spiders, they don't.
Alright, so, combat begins. This spider gets to go first, and it is going to move like this.
I was gonna say it's gonna immediately cock block the entire hallway.
And then is going to bite at Nokris with its fang mandibles.
Yeah.
It misses horribly, as it is caught off guard still and everything else. And as a bonus action on its turn, it is going to phase to the ethereal plane.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Zin, you're up.
Knockers, good job killing that one so fast.
I didn't kill that one, trust me. This is why I
I
think you
can-
like phase spiders.
I can sort of see this one right here. Can I hit it from there?
They are large, so they take up 4 grids. So if you are in a diagonal and it looks like there's still space between it and another space, you're able to hit it.
'Cause I'm pretty sure that takes up all my movement, going through Holly's 10, and then I'm entering the difficult terrain, and then one more step in the difficult terrain.
Correct.
Joyous me. Alright. Now that I'm in,
So the 22 is a hit. And then the damage you deal here is 7 slashing with 7 fire and an additional 10 for the War Master. So that's a total of 28.
still standing.
You kill this particular spider as it falls off of the webbing to the floor and kind of dematerializes. in its bloodied heap before it has some weird physical representation of being semi-phased between the ethereal plane and the physical plane before you. Kind of a cool effect when it is able to walk between both. When you kill it, it can theoretically kind of straddle both planes, I guess, as it is dead in both at the same time as a being. So, anyways,
Zin looks at the mess and goes, "That is kind of cool." And unfortunately, because I'm out of movement, that will be my turn.
fair enough. Alright, it is now the druid in the back's turn. Yes, Cowrie, it probably looks like a bugged monster corpse in Skyrim or something. Alright. The druid in the back is going to... They're going to do bark skin on the druid in front of them. So they will have, given the druid in front of them, AC of 16. And then they will attempt to reposition themselves with the hardened terrain, or the difficult terrain, I should say, rather. Speed of 30, so this is 10, 20, and we'll end their turn there. Next druid is up, having been turned to bark by the other druid behind them. They will use the spell Thunder Wave.
Ouch.
So Thunder Wave basically is each creature within a 15-foot cube originating from the character has to make a Constitution save, and on a failed save they take thunder damage and are pushed 10 feet away. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage and does not move. So, in front of this individual, they are going to do Thunder Wave from their position for 15 foot. So basically, the only person that is currently affected by it is Zin. And he passes, so he takes half of the damage, which is 8 thunder damage, and stands fast. After that having happened, the druid is then going to back up 10, 20 as well, and end their turn. And then it is now this spider's turn. It is going to climb across the webs a little bit here, where its friend was, and will attack at Zin with its fleshy, piercing mandibles, and attempt to bite him. And a 22 is a hit. Go ahead and make a Constitution save for me, please. You passed. But you are affected by poison currently. However, you take no ill effects from it because of your heroic banquet that you consumed. So you will take 10 piercing damage and shrug off the rest like nothing happened. And then as a bonus action, the spider is going to go boop.
Coward.
And Holly, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to I'm going to get here.
Mhm.
I assume I can get there with all that Even
You
with
can
agility,
go-
I'll get there, so it'll be fine.
Yep.
I'm gonna rage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take a couple. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna rage, and then I'm going to reckless attack this guy.
Okay. So the first swing is a hit.
For 16.
16. It is still there. And the second
Wow.
one is a miss.
Okay. That's it.
That's the end. Okay. Is next spider's turn. This one right here. They're going to climb across the ceiling a little bit and will try to bite at Holly from above with an 18, which hits for 12 piercing.
Is that halved?
That is pre-halved, so 6 piercing. And
Okay.
then Shocker, they're going to face. Calorie, you're up.
I'm going to cast Toll the Dead on the spider close to Holly, since it's the one that's still alive. Well, in the realm.
No. Because
Okay.
because basically, regardless of whatever your con is, if you pass or fail, the poison that would affect you is not going to do anything to you anyways, because you're immune from the effects of poison from the feast.
Okay.
Alright, so Toll the Dead on the spider that's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. It rolls a 14 and fails, so it takes 13.
Yeah.
Doubled because of damage previously being taken, or is that already applied?
That's already applied, it's just an
Okay.
extra amount of die.
Okay, so this spider crumples off of the wall, falling to the floor and doing its weird half-in, half-out phasing death as it slowly twitches its way to a contorted form.
I'll end my turn there.
Okay. Knockers, you're up.
Okay. So, do this. So, 10, 20, 30. I have no idea where the other spiders are, unfortunately.
That is correct.
Until they decide to materialize again. I will. I will burn a 3rd level slot and I will cast Hold Person. So, these two are within 30 feet of each other, so have both of them give me a Wisdom saving throw, please.
Alright. So the one to the east, or to the north, whatever you want to call it, fails.
Okay.
And the other one fails too.
Alright, so the DC was 15, if that changes anything. I don't remember if I mentioned that.
It doesn't for their rolls,
Okay.
because one of them was a 4 and the other one was 11.
Okay. They are paralyzed for the duration, which is concentration up to a minute.
Very well.
And that will be my turn. You get your turn now.
I know.
You're up, Granny.
Been 84 years. Okay, 5, 10, 15. What do you mean there were phase spiders in here, guys? I don't see any phase spiders. Wait, that's a bad thing, right?
Yes.
Yup.
You can move your full distance because the difficult terrain ends its effect as soon as my turn comes to an end.
Actually, I think I'm at 30 right there anyways.
Okay.
I think
Just
you're
double
Um,
checking.
Let's see. So, have either of those two been hit? The two druids there?
They have.
Which one has been hit more? Or which one looks more injured to Talia's eye?
Based upon what you can tell from their currently motionless forms, the one to the north is probably the one that has been abused the most.
Wait, motionless?
They're currently held in place.
Oh, hold person.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So nuke 'em. Got it. What do I want to nuke them with, though? Ooh, so many options. Does hold person just... Oh, wait, there's a description there. Okay, so they're paralyzed, so they can't be moved, but that doesn't mean that they're just like glued to the ground, can't be moved.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay, so I can't lightning lure them too far away. I'm going to sling a chromatic orb at the one in the north.
Okay.
I will choose. So I have to choose the damage type before I
Correct.
cast. So it's like, these are poisony weird druids. So we're gonna go with how about thunder? Because Talia seems to like to be loud and deal thunder damage. So
Fair enough.
oh, it's making me choose it on.
Yeah, it
Okay.
makes you pick the damage type. So 22 for a
Wow.
hit, which is a hit because they can't really defend themselves. So they're hit for 8 thunder damage. The resounding echoes of force that unleash upon them is enough to then expire their life.
Oh. Oh. Well, I got a kill for once. Next person.
All right, so
Go, big guy.
it is not Big Guy's turn. It is the Phase Spider's turn. He was going to maneuver in the ethereal plane. And
Did you
will-
construct that with layers?
Yes.
Ooh, that's clever use.
And will reappear behind on the wall, striking at Talia with its fangs.
I fucking quit.
With a 19.
Yeah, that's dead on, I think. Yes.
And you take 4 piercing damage. Because the additional delicious poison damage that would come from it doesn't affect you at all because you have a poison immunity feast that is currently in effect.
Huh?
The feast we ate before coming in.
For the additional HP and all that.
Right. I was
So-
like, what are you talking about? I forgot that gave us poison immunity. Right, because we took the anti-green dragon spell.
Now it is Zin's turn.
Can I hit that?
It's not in the ethereal plane, so you tell me, can you hit it?
I'm asking just because like there's so many people around me.
You can, because its hitbox, because the shape of the tile is circular, has an extra gap, or appears to have an extra gap, but yes, you can in fact hit it.
Thank you.
So a 10 is a miss. 9 is a miss.
God damn.
That is definitely a hit. So let's see, that's 17, 8 is 25, plus 22 more is 47. And this spider, shockingly, real big shocker, falls dead, split in half by the flaming overhand strike that you laid upon it, as it falls in 2 pieces from the ceiling, and is no longer present.
The floor isn't. That spell was only until the end of Nocris's last turn,
Correct.
right?
So you can move in normal. Right. You can move at normal speed across the floor.
Thank you. 5, 10, 15, 20. There are stairs over here, guys.
Yes, you see a continuation of the cave going on to the east with stairs.
I'm going to action surge.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. I'm not going to action surge.
Okay.
But I will make a 4th attack since I killed that creature with my Great Weapon Master feat. Allows me to make an additional attack with a bonus action.
Go ahead. Is a hit on the immobile individual that can't really dodge or defend or block or anything because they're held fast in paralysis. And the amount of damage you deal to them absolutely fucks them up, and they're very much dead.
I was gonna say I try to make it a non-lethal blow because I don't know if Nocris has plans.
Okay, well, I mean,
snack. Fuck
if
them.
yeah, I was gonna say, if you
Never
want them
mind.
unconscious, I can make this person unconscious for you, but it sounds very much like it was not on the table.
Okay, yeah, they're dead. I feel
Wait,
like
what's
Zin
wrong
just.
with Noctis being a snack? I mean, Holly already looks at you like that, so...
Is a different
Big
type of
wink.
snack, good sir.
I feel
Not
like
spiders, though.
My snack, Holly doesn't share. Holly
Jesus.
doesn't share food.
Oh my.
All right, so I assume then that is the end of Zin's turn, correct?
correct. I feel like I just plastered this bitch to the wall.
All right, so the next phase spider is going to maneuver itself in the ethereal plane. And will reappear, striking at Calry from behind with fangs. And I didn't mic up for that, did I? Because I was talking without pushing my push talk. Strikes at Calry from behind with fangs after manipulating its presence in the ethereal plane for a 19. And does 4 piercing. And would have dealt 28 poison damage. Goddamn. So 4 piercing, and that ends its turn. Holly, you're up.
I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna smack it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do reckless.
Okay.
Wow, big rolls.
Yep. So 18 is a hit for 6. And 22 is a hit for 9, which is enough to cleave it in 2. As it becomes a disgusting pile of nothing, sort of nothing, between 2 realms.
I want to take one of its legs and try to eat it.
Okay. So reaching out and grabbing the leg and kind of cutting it off of the body, you hold it in your hand, and as you attempt to eat it, it it almost has a property of being there but not being there. When you attempt to chew on it, you simply bite air, but you can physically hold it in your hand, which absolutely boggles your mind.
So it's like raccoons with cotton candy. That's real fucked up, John.
I mean, just saying, call it like it is. Like, we're talking about the ethereal plane here, Kita, okay? This is very weird. It's like not a normal thing to be in between two planes like that.
Just wanted to know what phase spider tastes like.
Well, maybe one day you'll find out.
Gotta take it while it's still alive for that.
I mean, there is still one more, so you never know. You might get your chance.
John,
Yeah.
I gotta say this because I've been watching it for like the past, I don't know, hour or so. But your stream is about 10 seconds behind you.
That's
So
standard. Yeah, that's standard. It's
I get
gonna have a delay.
I get to hear your reactions and then experience your facial reactions, and let me
Mhm.
tell you, it's like
That's what makes it good.
mwah.
That's what makes it good to the viewer, because they see the physicality of whatever. That's why, like, there's another layer we're missing in this experience by not, like, physically being in the table or, like, seeing each other's faces and reactions when we do this stuff, which is why I was like, there could be a little bit that could be gained by involving this, which is why I was like, let me turn it on and let's try to go through this process, because I think this could be kind of cool for the experience.
Knight and I will eventually at some point get webcams.
Hey, there's no pressure behind it. Like, you don't have to do it. I'm not making anyone do it, but
We've already had this discussion, John.
that's fine. That's fine. Anyways, that I assume is your turn. Attempting to consume a phase spider.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It is now the other phase spider's turn, as it will stealthily tiptoe through the ethereal plane. Where will it end up? Who really knows?
Granny still hears it and turns around and like kung fu whacks it on the head with a wooden spoon.
Whoosh! And it phases into existence, before then attempting to strike at Nokris with its horrific fangs. For an 8, which misses as it catches only air and recoils to cling to the webs on the wall, ending its turn.
Gallery, kill it.
And from here,
You
I'm
cannot.
Like, fuck
you,
this shit, I'm
you-
out!
You can't melee it from there if you're.
I know.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my Ring of Spell Storing to send out the guiding bolt that's in there at it.
Okay.
I don't have that spell. Perhaps I actually have to look at this and then just roll it on the thing. It sits in the ring, but I don't have it.
If you can link the spell card, you can click the option in the spell card to roll the damage.
You will still have to roll your spell attack roll, I believe, for
Right,
our
correct.
guiding bolt.
Yes, guiding bolt you do have to, because there are a few worse feels for a cleric than a whiffed guiding bolt.
Oh my. A 9k template.
Alright, so 21 for your hit, which is a success. So you have the spell card ready anywhere for guiding bolt, or are you just gonna roll a damage? That's
roll
fine.
the damage.
Okay,
9 damage.
so 9 damage.
And the next attack has advantage on it, and then I'll end the turn.
Okay. It is still clinging to life. Nokris, it is your turn.
Kill it.
Okay. Let me double check. Yep, it's within range of me. I'm going to attack this thing. And let's see. Does a 19 hit?
It does.
Okay.
For 11 points of damage, which is enough to end its clinging life from the webs above.
Basically, as this thing goes in to strike me again, I grab part of its mandible above its fangs so I don't accidentally cut myself on it, and I cut off its head and its many eyes.
Off with your head!
Off with your head! I'm not being your snack.
And so it is cleaved asunder. And a sudden stillness comes to the cave.
Holly's still sulking about her face spider. She's just kind of swinging the leg around a little bit.
Well, currently, I mean, it probably is not good eats, but currently Koval has in his possession, the head of said spider that oddly did not phase when it was cleaved from the standard plane of existence.
I don't want the head, I
That's
wanted the leg.
disgusting.
Well,
She looks at him like, this is not good eating.
just calling it like it is. I don't know what else to tell you. He has a head in his hand.
I killed 3.
Good job. Everybody ready to keep going in this cave, or need a minute to catch your breath?
Do the druids have any particular colors or anything on them, out of curiosity, John?
The druids do not particularly have any interesting colors on them. However, they do have kind of a muted green tint on their robes, almost as if like the cloth or fabric is somewhat, the fibers are some kind of plant base that is still living somehow, yet being dead. So like it's been woven into the fabric, but is still almost as if it's a living fabric.
Gotcha. Okay.
Vegan druids, surprise.
Are you guys going to be doing anything regarding the remains of these druids? Like, are you guys going to search them or anything?
I'll take.
You
the
guys tell me.
cursory look. I'll look through them since I'm asking about their regalia and things like that.
Okay. So, searching through their belongings on these 2 bodies, you effectively find very little in terms of anything of interest. There you find some odds and ends pouches of herbs and things that basically have no medicinal understanding to you at this particular moment in time. You also do not really find any form of weaponry short of some long branches of wood that probably were used as some kind of cane or stick or staff. And beyond that, they have very little material possessions. One of them, you find a small note, which basically just reminds the individual in their own handwriting to not forget about the stash and keep it hidden. And on the other one, you simply just find nothing else of interest.
They're druids, so they have sticks. Surprise. Surprise.
Apparently something about a stash and to keep it hidden. Where? Your guess is as good as mine. Probably further in. But that stash could literally mean anything. It could mean their own personal stash of valuables. It could be a stash of medicinal herbs. It could be a stash of herbs they want to smoke. I do not know.
For druids, it could be all 3.
Whatever the case may be, I don't think it's in this room.
Or really in our best interest to actually spend time searching for this thing. We have a dragon to track down.
So Zin moves forward to the east, seeing and revealing a stairwell that continues down. The walls of the cave and the stairwell as it proceeds forward, covered in vines like everything else you've seen already, with, luminescent fungus and, vines and everything on the ceilings, and the growth on the tiling, or, well, not really the tiling, but growth on the cave floor as it proceeds down and winds around a little bit, heading down.
Before we go down, does the moss that's on the cave walls kind of match the moss that's woven into their clothes?
No, not in such a way that you can discern that it's the same type of material or the same like plant. It maybe share a similar tint, but it is not the same material.
Okay. I want to do a thing. I don't know if Druidcraft's cantrip is usable in this context, but before Holly goes down, she's just going to kind of pass her hand over them and using Druidcraft and just make the moss cover the bodies.
Yep, that's fine. Basically, as you wave your hand upon the floor, the fungus and the growth of the floor effectively reaches out and kind of envelops the bodies into the floor, the contour of where the moss is, and you just see some little bumps, some little mossy bumps on the floor.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Okay. Alright, so as you continue your passage down the stairwell, you feel that the air is beginning to cool and kind of become more normal in terms of humidity, almost as if it was when you were outside previously. But otherwise, nothing new or interesting is really present in the cave. Alright, so is anyone else continuing down the cave? Like, are you guys all following suit? How are we doing this? Who's exploring? Who's not? What really is happening? I just need to know where everyone is as we're making our way through here.
Following along.
I'm
Like,
just
they're-
following Zen.
Okay. Nokris, I assume you're similarly following the group as you're going down the stairs.
Yes, no.
Okay.
I am going to follow them as well, just making sure that Holly is not left behind as she does her thing. Or the
Understood.
Druidcraft.
Understood. All right. As you reach the segment where you can now see out into the waterway again, the walls, the vines present on the walls, begin to writhe and reach out at you.
No. That's not allowed.
Maybe you shouldn't have eaten those spores.
I don't like this drug.
Go ahead and roll initiative for me. And we'll probably hold here for this week because it's now 9 o'clock my time, which means it's later for everybody else.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I get one fucking good roll for initiative for like this entire level. Not like just level 12. I get one good roll for initiative. And now we're back to sub 10 for everything.
You're old.
Shut up. I've got an
Honestly,
18.
I will trade you for a 0.
I'll trade you just to say I had a 0.
Nokris just doesn't go at all.
50 with an 18 intelligence and a 16 strength.
Alright, so the vines
I'm
reach out
air
for
quotes.
you as you are maneuvering through this particular area, and it looks like Talia got lost behind this particular vine when it came into existence or something. I'm not really sure where the token went, unless Kairi's on top of her. No. There she is.
Oh, Talia's right there.
Let's do that so that you guys aren't stacked on top of each other.
Oh, well. Okay. For some odd reason, I thought Holly was like to the south of me where I was standing over there.
So that will be where we will leave it for this week because we'll pick up combat starting next week on Dragon Ball Z.
Sounds
The
good.
one time when favorite enemy plant would literally ever come in handy.
Wouldn't it have been twice this session because of the wood woads? Or
Yeah, I
there
know. This is
good
literally the
plants?
only dungeon where that would ever happen, though.
Like it.